The weekend is here, which is a great time to catch a movie. Let's take a look at some of the new films hitting screens now with film critic Richard Crouse. Always great to chat with you, Richard. Let's talk about One Battle After Another. And apparently there's a few actors in this movie that might have a career ahead of them.
Yeah, you may have heard of Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, Regina King. Lots of people in this, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. And if you know Paul Thomas Anderson's films, you know that he makes sort of fairly big, epic films, but they always have a real personal edge to them. So I'm thinking movies like There Will Be Blood, Magnolia, Licorice Pizza, lots of Boogie Nights, lots of things like that. So great filmmaker. And here he's telling the story of a guy named Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. When we first meet him, he's a revolutionary. He's working for a group called the French 75 to free hundreds of detainees at the U.S.-Mexico border. Cut to 16 years later, he's kind of more aligned to the dude in The Big Lebowski. He's stoned all the time. He's not given up his revolutionary ways, but there's no war for him to fight anymore. He's more concerned about looking after his 16-year-old daughter, but when she is taken, he has to spring back into action. And there's lots more to this movie than what I've just told you, but I don't want to spoil anything. But what you have here is a film that is by times very funny. It is action-packed. It has two really great performances at the helm from Sean Penn and Leonardo DiCaprio. But it's a movie that is about some very timely topics, but it never forgets the thing that makes the story interesting, which is the human relationship between Bob and his daughter. So I gave One Battle After Another, which is now playing in theaters, 4 out of 5 stars, and you can see it tonight.
Well, based on those pictures we just ran, it looks pretty awesome. This next film also could make a great name for a band, the Baltimorons.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's a great band name. Also, a great name for a great movie. So the Baltimorons takes place on Christmas Eve. You have a improv comedian who is kind of a bit of a schlub. He falls down, he breaks a tooth, and the only dentist he can find is Dee Dee, who we're seeing on screen here. She fixes his tooth. They do not hit it off immediately in any way. But when his car is taken while she's performing the procedure on his mouth, she volunteers to drive him to the car impound so that he can get his car back. But along the way, things start to happen, and they find that these two underdogs have a real connection. And so they spend the rest of Christmas Eve out on the town in Baltimore as their relationship grows. And this is smart, it's funny, it's very sweet. This is a really lovely movie about two outsiders who find their way to the inside through one another. So I gave the Baltimorons, which is now playing in theaters, 4 out of 5 stars as well.
I'm curious about this next one. Scarlett Johansson, not starring, but actually making her directorial debut.
Yeah, she's the biggest selling actress at the box office ever, and now she's turned to behind the camera with Eleanor the Great. This is the story of Eleanor, played by June Squibb, who is living with her best friend when we first meet her. Husbands died many, many years ago, and when her best friend dies, she moves in with her daughter across country, but she doesn't really know how to fit in, so she tells a lie, and that lie gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it really starts to affect everyone in Eleanor's orbit. And this is a nicely directed film by Scarlett Johansson, but what's more, it's June Squibb. She's 95 years old. She is the heart and soul of this movie. If you saw a movie called Thelma a couple of years ago, where she played like a 94-year-old action star, you'll know she can do anything. This is her best role yet. Loved every second of her on screen. I gave Eleanor the Great 3 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
And let's close this off with The Strangers.
Chapter 2. So
Chapter 2.
last year, Chapter 1 came out. It's based in a small town. This is a franchise that's been going on for a while, but this is a new thread of story. So small town, some tourists come by and they get picked by 3 random masked killers who just chose them at random and terrorize them. They thought they had killed both of them, but as we learn in the second movie, one of them survived. And so now the survivor has to deal with these 3 marauders coming to get her to finish the job. And this is a movie that has very little in the way of actual thrills, very little in the way of actual chills, not a lot of horror. In fact, at the end of the movie, because this is Chapter 2, part of a trilogy, they have a to be continued title card that comes up, and they show some scenes from part 3, and that plays more as a warning than an advertisement for The Strangers. So I did not really care for this that much. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
Richard Crouse, always telling it like it is. Thank you so much, my friend.